Welcome, supporters, to another episode of Waterhouse Vibes. As we told you before, this channel is about Waterhouse, and we look at life in Waterhouse, what we can do to assist residents, and also, of course, highlight the shortcomings of the politician and the residents, and what we can do to move the community forward. This evening, I have a veteran from Balcombe Drive. One time youth organizer in the area. A brother man, we know him as Babai, from Balcombe Drive. Welcome, Babai.
All right, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man. So, can you share a little bit about your background so people know who you be?
Well, born and raised 71 Balcombe Drive, right in front Arnold, between Christian Lane and Unity Lane. And attended, start with basic school over Miss Arnold, then Binge Road Basic School, then primary school, Balmaji primary. From there, so when them opened the Drews Avenue primary, moved to Drews Avenue primary, and then from there, so to Tarrant, graduate from Tarrant, but again, pretty much whole first half of my life, right on Balcombe Drive, Canada, so right between Unity Lane and Christian Lane. So.
But you were a youth organizer.
Oh, absolutely. At one point, sports had, especially cricket and soccer, really took off in the late 70s going into the 80s from Balcombe Drive. Most folks might not know him now, but people my age will. Man called Belly. Reefer. Right. At a bar and gambling house, Fairview Lane, right corner, right there. So
yeah,
on Balcombe Drive. And one other thing he did, he was very active in the community, and still. So he started a cricket team, and that they were pretty successful, and draw a lot of players from outside of Waterhouse that played for the team. And he also kicked off and started supporting a soccer team.
Yeah.
And that also took off, and he was able to bring players in from outside of the community. And so, as you'd seen that, and sports really playing a big part in the community, we clubs started springing up.
Eagle Star.
And I formed one called Eagle Star, pretty much located right there, so 71 Balcombe Drive, and we used to have a club meeting right there, and we entered into back then you have Social Development Commission sponsor different community league sports. And so we entered into some of those community league sports event, and did well. We never embarrassed yourself.
Your grandmother was a famous woman in the community, Miss Winnie.
Yeah, for those who been around long enough to remember, Miss Winnie had a shop right across from Arnold.
Yeah.
Sell, your regular little small board shop where dotted the community. So sell, food stuff. Then when mango season, you have basket of mango out front there, and basically that was it. So pretty much everything the community need in terms of food stuff and such, yeah.
What was like for you growing up in that area?
again, Waterhouse is a complex place. There's a sense of pride and community within your circle. So I would say my circle for Waterhouse start probably from Balcombe Drive and Conway Road corner and go up to probably Australia Road corner.
Mm-hmm.
So within that, you'd probably call it what, 2 blocks. You really is a family within that block. So most of the kids in that block know each other from birth. You know, they grow up and because they attend the same basic school, the same primary school, pretty close knit. But as you venture out from your corner, because back then it was all about the corner, you have different corners. So you venture a little further up and you have the Buckers and them corner. You have Rona Binge Road. You have down we call that Eyeglass corner. Down, and then you have down Penny Road corner there with West Bay Farm Road. So you have different corners, but within that area where I just laid out from Conway Road up to Australia, that was pretty much our little dummy in there. So where you really feel you're comfortable and people look out for you because, again, you all know each other from, we're just kids. Kickball or drive vehicle, truck, them, even your milk truck where you make and them things, they are ride skate. And them
our board ass.
Yeah, man. You find way for entertain yourself because again, nobody will live there so never rich or have money, you know. So kids make them own toys, where them a drive or roll a tire down the street or them get some bearings and rubber the bearings them and make skate. Yeah, so.
But in the 70s, things start to change though.
Oh yeah. In the 70s, then you start have more friction between corners and communities, especially communities. And then you start have, you know, the Tower Hill, you know, against Waterhouse. And then even within, you know, you have Labour PNP things start get violent. And even within the same larger Waterhouse community, you have different groups want to dominate. And so you even have internal friction between groups, you know. They call man from down a capture, man from Buckers and different groups. And then Binge would start rise up and just different groups.
Mm-hmm. So you say around 76 because that's when Thompson and Yapsam came about.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. A lot of that started after Michael became prime minister.
Michael Manley.
Yeah. And then you start to have the talk about one side left, go left or, you know, communists or leftist socialists, democratic socialist was the term at the time. And then you have the GLP, which is on the opposite side. And so you start to have friction between those communities. In fact, I tell the example sometime where my father lived at Tower Hill. So Tower Hill is in walking distance, you know, 2 miles or so from where we live to where my father lived. And when things get hot, man, sometimes you have 6 months. When I see him, him can't, definitely me can't go. But the funny thing is, there were times when him can visit me, because I don't know if the people them from my side more civil, but them know him as Baba father that, and you know, even though him live at a while, him come through and no man no mess with him. But me couldn't do the same thing. Me as a younger person, if me go through cross, as them would I say, cross the border, or Rima there, so we used to call Rima, right? To be a farmer at the Olympic way corner there, so
Yeah.
he in trouble. But I don't come back.
So with the change came a lot of violence and what have you, but also we start seeing some more guns coming into the activities, gunfights and all of that.
Yeah. Again, and anybody that taking the time to study the history of them times, they know exactly what happened. But yeah, gun violence got more common. You know, before that, people. In fact, there was a time, right, when that our little corner there, so where I think there was only two known gun in the community. Mr. Anna, you know, I have a little 38, and with a man there with a down in a bakery lane there.
Waljan.
Yeah, no man, the butcher. Yeah, no, right at before you get down to bakery, there's someone.
Mr. Dixon.
Yes.
Mr. Dixon, yeah.
Yes. So the two, I have like 145, and that's it.
You know another man who own a gun to man, Paul Father.
Yeah.
From Dudney Road.
But anyway, you could have count on one and the guns and the coming, the known guns. And
until Bucky come in, we start make Bucky.
Mine start cut off bicycle, bar and get and pipe iron and get bed spring and hinges and homemade firearm. Yeah. That's how hard it was to get gun that people was I make them one gun. Yeah. But so, then things change. A flood that gun hit the communities and violence just take off.
So that is the background. Presently, when last have you been back to the community?
I was down there before 2019. No, 2018. 2018 before. Yeah, 2018 before the year before COVID started, you know, pick up.
And what's your impression?
Overall disappointed. I just to put it in a simple nutshell. While you see one and two house that the community where somebody really build a nice house that wasn't there back in the day. But overall, some of the place them just the same way you left are worse because the people now have the money for maintain. So the fences and houses just run down, dilapidated. The road, I remember when Balcombe Drive was paved for the first time, because before that was like a dirt road. In fact, it was like a gully because when rain fall, you can't cross Balcombe Drive.
Right.
The amount of water come down the road and flood out people's yard. Even same thing with Sandy Gully. Sandy Gully wasn't paved yet.
Yeah.
Sandy Gully was just a open gully course where people go down there, truck go down there, go dig sand or them draw sand out of the gully. But so I know when Balcombe Drive paved for the first time, and when we go down there now, it looked like since that Balcombe Drive not paved since it was paved the first time. Man. Tell you the road surface. When you drive, you just have to go from one side of the street to the next to avoid pothole, man. You can't drive straight down the road. You have to bob and weave around pothole. It just no maintenance, no upkeep. Whether it's the private property or the public road, things just a crumble and deteriorate. It really look like things haven't moved forward, except for, again, the very few house you might see where somebody build something nice and I maintain it. But other than that, it's just pure things just going down, just dilapidated, run down, no maintenance, no repair. And
what would you say is the cause of all of this?
poverty. In terms of the properties, people can have to choose between whether you're going to paint a house or fix up a fence and more basic survival, So, those are things you do when you have people that call it disposable income or extra income where you can invest in your property or other things. But right now, survival are the most important thing. So those things have to take second place. But when it comes to the road, I don't see that is more the government that take care of the community. And sometimes the government itself can spur development in our community or progress in our community just by government type investment. And but again, that's a general rundown appearance of the area.
And you'd say this is because well, let me back up. Growing up, we had effective political representation now at time. Regardless of what happened, we had that. We could see the MP. We know when the MP is around. He had an office in the area, and all of that stuff. No, it's like, I tell you this, that the section that you point out is represented by Prime Minister Holness, and I doubt if that man have ever set foot on Balcombe Drive. Well, I remember I was there once when he came to a meeting that I was at. But it's like the political representation seemed to be a problem. Would you say?
Well, I can't speak to that firsthand, but what I can say is the result that I see when I go down, it just suggests the investment in the community not happening. I give an example. During our time growing up, I could name things that happened that further the community. I would even put the paving at Sandy Gully because that was more of a national project for tame the Sandy Gully because, the destruction and stuff that was causing. But that was significant and the community benefited. But in addition to that, once you build the Sandy Gully, people couldn't cross from Drew's land over to Waterhouse side. The gully basically split the community, and that gully is, if anybody ever see it, about 50 meters wide and probably about 15 meters deep. So huge, like a Jamaica Grand Canyon. But the government at the time immediately put a bridge across it. But them ended up calling David Core Bridge our Red Bridge. So that facilitated movement within the community. You could now take a bus and come off on the boulevard and just cross over the gully. When prior to that, people used to have ladder. You have to climb down a ladder, jump across the drain ditch in the middle of the gully, then climb up the ladder on the other side. And then when rainfall and the gully come down, you can't do that. You'd be stuck. You can't cross it. So that bridge was a significant help to the community in terms of allowing people movement and giving them option. You can either now take the bus on the boulevard, or you can take 8 bus, or you can take 15. Another thing we mentioned, the paving of Balcombe Drive, and that went all the way down to Penwood Road, where them paved Penwood Road. That was also a step up for the community. And then at the time, you only had 8 bus running. 8 bus come Olympic Way, come down Bay Farm Road, and come down to Penwood Road, and turn around and go back up. But then they brought 15 bus started running in the community, and it came down Australia Road to Balcombe Drive, down Conway Road to Penwood Road. So you brought additional transportation. Car wasn't popular like what you see now, you know. We talk about 3 known gun in the community. I think there was 2 cars in the community. Arnold Carr and Laval.
Laval, yeah.
Yeah. So somebody gets, I tell you, boy, people like those, you know, what they did for community is unbelievable. I don't think those people get to sleep straight for any 7 days, because anybody gets sick at night, one of them 2 people I carry them go to hospital, and you can go and wake them up anytime and them not tell you no. So, you know.
But you're talking about an era when Mr. Core was the MP.
Yeah.
And at that time, it was one area. It was West St. Andrew.
Yeah.
Before it was split.
Yes. But I'm saying that those things, those changes, whether it's putting the bridge across the gully or bringing 15 bus down into the area, or paving those road, those were a big step up for Waterhouse. The next thing that happened during that time is water, where they ran a water line through the lanes.
Yeah.
Because prior to that, everybody from Bakery Lane,
Unity Lane, all the lanes.
Unity Lane, Christian Lane, all of those lanes. I had to go up Balcombe Drive up to that was that Fairview Avenue.
No, there was a standpipe in Unity Lane.
Okay.
There was a standpipe in Unity Lane.
One standpipe there, but then the other one is past.
Further up.
Further up. Yeah. Right. So that was it. That was the running water in the community. And then during that time, I come on the time that then they ran water lines through all of the lanes and all the way down to the bank.
That was the urban upgrading program, the World Bank thing, yeah.
Yes. But again, significant. Then following that, you have the electricity ran through those areas. They put in electricity in the lane and all the way down to the through Unity Lane, Christian Lane, down to the Gully Bank. So again, big changes, and it's just simple, basic thing. All we're talking about is road, water, and light. And a bridge, again, transportation. But those 4 things were moved that area significantly, because once people have running water, they have paved road, they have a way for transportation and the likes. Balcombe Drive and the Waterhouse area really was on an upward trajectory. You know, you could see it where people were investing in the community. More businesses started to expand. Fats. The supermarket expanded, where it became liquor wholesale. And then you have down Hudson Avenue.
Yeah.
You had a big business opened up, the Ellisto Avenue.
Yeah.
See the big business. So big supermarket and wholesale type and retail activities started opening up in the community, and community was progressing.
Another thing used to happen in that time was the molding shop. A lot
Yeah,
of Rasta man them used to make Dutch pot. Brother Fatty, Mr. Parker.
right.
And you yourself were involved in it one time as a
Yeah,
businessman.
Waterhouse have a foundry. It's almost like people know Waterhouse for music. You have the Tubbies and the Jammies studio. But another thing, Waterhouse is a foundation for in all of Kingston was foundry, and especially aluminum and cast iron.
Yeah.
Brother Parker down
Bakery Lane.
Bakery Lane had a cast iron foundry where they make stoves. They make stove and other cast iron product. And then you have Brother Fatty, Brother Sonny,
And Jimmy.
and Jimmy that did aluminum, so Dutch pots and forks and spoon. But
Later on, Irate.
even myself, started working. It became a common skill among the youth to do sand molding.
Yeah.
So after school, I would get home from school and go over Brother Fatty and put in 4 hours or so making pots, and that was good pocket money, and that was common across a lot of the different groups of youth. They would either be doing it down at Parker, Sonny, Jimmy, or over Brother Fatty. And so
I used to do that too at Brother Fatty.
yeah, it was
That was our.
because one thing about Brother Fatty, if you come for work, he's not going to tell you I have too many people or you can't. Those guys were foundation for the community. I learned a lot just being around and interacting and talking with people like him.
So
a lot of the youth learn the skill by working with one of these 4 major foundry pot making business, and then they branch out on their own. They buy in their backyard because it's really easy to set up. You have the right style. You make your mold, your boxes, and you have your mold patterns, and so a lot of them set it up in the backyard and started doing their own production. I did the same. I was one of those. Set up a shop and started employing your own friends to work in your shop, and the youth quickly realized they could make more money doing it for themselves than working for any other company. Small.
For sure.
So when people talk about entrepreneurs, that's always been there.
So, looking back, what are some of the things you think necessary right now to move the community forward, Balcombe Drive, in that area there? Because that area now, is plagued by gang violence. At a certain time, some people can't pass Australia Road. Another time, they can't pass Bakery Lane. They can't go Binns Road. It's just come like it's just gang violence take over the place.
Trust me, I know.
With your experience and background, what are some of the things?
I mentioned the investments or the infrastructure things that I saw in my time that changed the face of the community and started to create a more vibrant community with more businesses. But when I go back now and look, I don't see anything that have happened since that. I mean, there's more cars in the area, but again, the road haven't been fixed since it was made or haven't been repaved. Might have been patched here and there, but there just haven't been any investment at a community level. For example, let's talk about the foundry business. The same way I left that 30 years ago with youth doing that in the backyard, that's still going on. There hasn't been any, that to me, that's a business that could be built on. And with the government helping with training, technology, and better equipment, better facility. For example, some of those backyard foundries still using wood to to run the furnace. I had started and designed one where I use waste, not waste, but used engine oil, and you once that's heated or the furnace up and running, it will burn engine oil, and that you could get free at the gas stations. You know, you go up to Malines Road and you get 55-gallon drum of oil. Back then, they're just glad for you to take it off the hands. And you could use that and run your furnace. But again, there's more efficient way of melting and pouring, and even the molds, building, they're still doing sand molding. One of the business that had started when I was there, you had a guy from Britain, live up in Hoggestown, that had he did molding at his shop up there, but it was a more sophisticated type of molding that he did. It wasn't sand, it was more hard ceramic type mold. So the items came out smoother, nicer finish on them. And he had started a class at one point. We were going, myself, Polly.
Yeah.
Another guy named Napier. He had a business up by Hartford Tree, but was the same molding business. Yeah, he built gooseneck and that type of stuff for cars. But the guy started a class up at Cass at the time, and what he was teaching was or trying to get started, and it was being paid for, I believe, by the Small Business Association with some USAID funding to teach some of the basics of casting and smelting of metals. And it would have been a good, if it had carried on, it probably would have served a good foundation to take that molding business to the next level. Because here in the States, you can see aluminum pots and cast iron pots are big business, big business. You go into any Walmart or store, you see them on the shelf. But the finish is better finish than the ones you have, those guys are making. But again, there's a business for it, but you need some training, you need some investment and some technology. And that could have been a business that could have expanded in the Waterhouse area and created employment opportunities for a whole lot of youth. But again, they're stuck, the technology they're using, the skill level, the knowledge is stuck where it was 30 years ago. There haven't been any outside help to help elevate that that business that is so widespread in the community, but it's just still stuck at that basic level and haven't really expanded. So that's one area where I see if government would come in and could help, because again, there is no shortage of youth ready to be involved in that business. They already are, but they just lack the technology, training, the equipment to take it to the next level, where you have higher quality products being built more efficiently and with more modern tools. That's one area. You go down there, a person still finishing a cast pot with a hand file. You know? Yeah, still using a hand file and a hacksaw to cut off the risers where you cast it, or call it runner. And so again, those are simple machines that could be made available, or you set up like a molding, a foundry center, or kind of like what they have in the States here, where you have these micro business type facilities where they'll build some basic facilities, lease it to these small businesses, and allow them to make loans available to them, small business type loans. And something goes from a backyard business or something you just do as a side hustle to you can expand it to something major where you're employing people and building a community.
Well, so, what you said to me raised a question, because what you said to me raised a question, because the consular, we have a consular now, he's from Jonestown, a guy named Patrick Roberts. He was being a man manager. He's now the consular for the area.
Yeah.
And he has gone through the community, and what he's doing is naming, is putting up street sign. Putting up street sign throughout the community. Unity Lane and all those places. But when I hear him doing that, I say, we're not making progress, because the people who represent us, they know nothing about our story, our life. They just come in there and just...
Well, part of it too, Mike, is, nowadays we were engaged.
We were.
We had a direct line. We could, and that's again how this class is started with Buddha. That was the name of the guy from up Augustown. But we were able to reach out to, whether it's the MP or the councillor, and let them know what your problem is, and get we were engaged. SDC, you'd have the representative from the SDC, especially with the clubs.
Yeah. PFP.
Would visit us probably once a week and know exactly what's going on in the area and what's needed, and provide assistance or provide guidance, where you can get assistance. I remember with me, I told you when I set up with the using the foundry, using the used engine oil, I had ended up getting a loan through Small Business Association at the time to purchase like fire bricks, line to, but small, not big loan, but a small enough loan to take you, provide you some of the basic things you needed. So I was able to have, instead of a wood furnace like a lot of the guys even today are still using, I was able to have one that ran off of oil. and just basic help like that, just basic. But again, we were very much more engaged with the representatives and able to know where you can get help and what's available. I'm not sure that exists.
Well, as I said, I doubt if Mr. Holness, the Prime Minister who represents the area, visited the area probably 5 times. I doubt that. But
But also, though, the area have to organize. People have to organize. But again, they probably won't if they don't think they're going to get the help, because, things sometimes are, whether you get help or not, depending on who is in charge, and which side you're on. So that could be part of the reason why they're not trying or not organized. But your question was what I thought could be done, and that's one example of what I think can be done with the community. Because again, that skill set, that business exists in the Waterhouse community more than anywhere else in Kingston.
Yeah.
And it could be it could be built up and expanded with some investment from the government.
Because right now, I tell you, Paul is still doing it.
Yeah. I went down there, yeah.
Yeah, they're still doing the thing, but there's no assistance, nothing, and that could expand to offer employment to more youths inside of the community.
Absolutely.
But what else you see as possible in terms of Balcombe Drive Waterhouse? What other thing you see?
I'll give another example, and again, I haven't lived there in years, but I visited sometime twice a year. Right now, and last time I was there, and they've been doing it now for the last 20 years, so my guess is they're still doing it. Right up on Australia Road, right before you get to Dudney Road, right there on your right. Friend of mine, school friend of mine, Byron Washington, them call him Kong.
Yeah.
Still doing making furniture right there, the shop right there in the corner. Most of the time, they're actually working on the road, on the sidewalk. The work come out of the shop and is right on the sidewalk.
Your furniture making is a big thing in Waterhouse.
Right, they're still making furniture right
Australia
there
and Welcome Avenue.
Right there on Australia Road before you get to Dudney Road, and also around a bull. Where I lay in the
Welcome Avenue.
Yes, they were still doing it last time I was there, but again, those business is still a backyard business, and they put out some solid work. I mean, quality work. But if it's raining, they probably have to stop the work for the day.
Yeah.
Because most of the work done out in the open. It's not even a sizable shop to do the business. A lot of it's still being done by hand. They're spraying furniture and they're spraying it right out in the open on the side of the street. Or if run a bull and Welcome Avenue out in the yard. So again, those businesses been going on for decades. The youth that have come through those businesses, they're very skilled. You have multiple locations where they're building furniture, but it's on a what they call hand-to-mouth scale, and there's not a lot of technology or things being applied. They don't have a shop to speak of. So those are areas again, and same concept. You put up some decent shop facility and you rent it rent it to them, provide low interest business loans so they can invest in, whether it's lathe, planers for, wood, but equipment. So they can, better quality, higher production output. So instead of a one person hand sand something, you can run it through a belt sander or something, and get it done quicker. So again, the skill is there, the interest, the determination, but they need some help. They need some help to raise it to the next level. And one way to do that would be to set up facilities and provide loan access to the business type loans that can help these guys move those businesses to the next level.
But that type of help can only come from the government.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, private, unless there's some philanthropic type organization to do it. But yeah, the main avenue you look to for that kind of assistance would be the government, yes. Yeah. And in a community where crime is so rampant, you'd think there'd be an interest to invest in those type of business in the community, especially both of the business I'm talking about. A lot of youths are involved with it, yeah. But there's not much of a future because the business are just stuck at that level, hand to mouth business. But with some investment, I believe those could be built up.
But to get the investment, they have to be organized, and to be organized, you need somebody to be leading that process, and that is the way the thing is fractured right now. The man them at Balcombe for buckers, stay buckers. The man them not the middle state, so nobody no move out to reach out to, it's like we just get stuck, caught in a time wrap. So how we get around that problem? How do we get around that problem? Because everybody afraid,
Yeah.
Nobody know how to step outside of them comfort zone.
Yeah, but I don't know if you remember, during that time, our time, there was various outreach program, I understand where people have to be organized, but there were actually programs where people, whether it's this SDC or at one time there was
PFP.
Yeah, when they were expanding things Jamaican, and there would be people coming to the community, and trying to find opportunities where they could provide assistance to those type of business. And
I remember Log used to do that with PFP.
Yeah.
Come in with aluminum thing and what have you, but
right. So I don't know if they still have that type of outreach where the government, reach out to the community and find and engage with the community. You have to engage with the community too, because sometimes people just kind of give up and not expect anything from government, because
well, it seems like the only thing they're pointing to is soccer. Soccer is the main thing.
Eat that, brethren. Yeah, that can't put that on plate.
Well,
sport, Waterhouse always been, excel in sports. I mentioned back in the day with Belly and the cricket and the soccer. That's always been there. That's always been there. But
what you see as a future? The way you paint it, what you see as a future? Is there a future for Balcombe Drive?
It dim, honestly. honestly.
Cause most of the youth them are going them turn to the right, you know.
Yeah. There's individuals where I try, but on a broad community level, I don't see it. In fact, one of the disappointing thing for me is when I drive Olympic Way, I go out to 3 Mile and you go through Toa. I see where Toa I build, where that little strip now between when you cross over the gully there, from Olympic Way, from Bay Farm Road, all the way almost all the way down to Kling Avenue there is built up with business, and it's almost like a strip and expanded, and you look and say how that could happen in that area, and you don't see anything like that happen in the Waterhouse area. What's the difference? What's the driving force for Tower Hill expand that area?
Effective representation.
Resources that you have in Waterhouse.
Effective political representation. Okay. That is the problem, because we get settled with some guys, my brethren, and the unfortunate thing is that we've been supporting one party for the longest while, which is the People's National Party, and you have to ask yourself, what's happening? What's really happening? When you look at, you see Towel gone way ahead, and as you say, we have spent a longer time in government, the party that we support, but what is the return? And I'm still coming to your door and say you must come out and vote.
Yeah.
You understand me? So it comes right down to the lack of effective political representation. And the way the place is structured right now. You see right where your house is at?
Mm-hmm.
That is in Central St. Andrew.
West Central?
Yeah, St. Andrew. If you walk from there and go down to Bakery Lane, that is West St. Andrew.
So they split it.
Yes. The boundary run right through Unity Lane. You understand? Unity Lane Farm Road and all of that stuff. But the effective representation remains a problem in Waterhouse and Balcombe Drive. It's like a bunch of guys just come in and use the people to get where they want to go. And mark you, what the result? How long should we continue on this road?
Yeah, but again, I'm not so much plugged in, but is there like a community representation, any group? Is there any group that represent the community that would then be the one to take the community concerns to the representative?
Well, up by Buckers, there is.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's a technology center up by Buckers. Okay. But when you leave from Australia Road going down the Penwood Road, you don't have that. You have small groups. PMP as a group in my section. Okay. But you don't have, the people are not encouraged to organize themselves.
But Buckers always been organized.
Yeah, Buckers always been organized.
Always been. Yeah.
But when you leave Australia Road and go on your way down to Penwood Road and them section there's nothing happening there. And everybody will tell you they're afraid because of the violence.
Yeah.
And nobody want to come out and organize.
Yeah, nobody want to take a leadership role.
And the funny thing about it, you see in that area, you'd be surprised to see the number of abandoned houses.
Oh, yeah, man.
Houses which somebody with a vision could acquire these houses for the community and turn them into enterprise zone. But they just leave it up and now the gangster them control it and rent them out. You know? So you ask yourself, how long can we continue on this road? How long?
Well, I don't know, probably, you know, people probably just moved out, gave up and moved out and abandoned their property, you know.
It's I really, honestly, I really worried. And I'm not, you know where I
It's
stand.
not gonna fade away. It's not gonna disappear. It's going to be there, but it's just that it will just be continuing at the same level or worse, without any real development and progress. But the community will always be there. You know?
And I tell you this, Baba. You know my position. I've always supported the PNP. You know I'm left. And I tell you, my brother, I'm disappointed. Disappointed with the PNP representation in that area. You know, because when you look at the condition, Mark, there's no one MP on Anthony Hilton. You know, he's doing some stuff. You know, and I've come out against him and criticized him, and he's doing some stuff. You know, and all of that stuff. But overall, it's a sad state of affair, man. And I don't see things getting better because the PNP is disorganized.
Yeah.
Them fighting amongst themselves. So the people suffer.
Yeah. And it's a good thing when you leave an area and you come back, you know, because you're able to really evaluate it, because sometimes the person who is there, they just get so used to
The
they
condition.
can't see it. But when you leave an area and you go back 5 years later, 10 years later, and each time you go back, it just looks like it's worse than the last time you were there. Then you just know that things not getting any better, regardless of what somebody might say. They have this program, that program. All you have to do is just look at it objectively and you recognize that the place getting worse, you know.
I tell you better than that. Street lights.
Yeah.
That come like it's a rare commodity in terms of Balcombe Drive, you know. I don't know how the police them patrol and do them stuff, but you're talking about community security. You understand me? And street lights is like non-existence.
Yeah.
It's very sad, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the question is, people like you and me, what can we do? Those of us from the community who live overseas, and what can we do, even in terms of some of the ideas you share? What can we do?
That's a good question. That's a good question, because again, I don't think it's I don't think they're short on ideas. They're not short on
Organization.
That organization is one but you and I can't do the help with that from a distance. It needs boots on the ground, you know, and interfacing with the representation of the area, taking the issues to the area representatives, and you know, you can't just go in your hand a beg. You need to have some kind of plan. Example, the ones I pointed out earlier, and then you can go with a plan and ask for some assistance with that, whether it's funding or, you know, some kind of government aid. But you need to have a plan of what you're asking for, and not just asking for straight, handout. You're not asking for a handout. You're asking for government to make some investment in the community. But if that's what you're asking for, then you need to present your plan. And I'm not sure there's anybody there that's putting something together to say, here's our vision for the community, or for, say, again, the molding business. Here's a vision for the molding business where we think we could go with this or build this up, or that those different furniture shops that are in the area, or backyard furniture making place. If you had a person to organize that, bring those
elements together.
Yeah. For example, if say if needed, they don't know, and you have a vision like that, you go down a Paul and you talk to Paul. Paul is a pot maker. You go down upon the banks, you have about another half dozen of them down upon the banks there.
Yeah.
And when they say, all right, we're gonna meet Friday evening or Saturday evening over Paul Yard. And then you have the meeting, and then you want to come up with a plan and say, all right, what I like to do is have a molding shop, a larger place where you can have people have their own shop section. Part of the challenge for them is aluminum, getting scrap aluminum. If there was a way for them to organize to buy that in bulk, because like you have the is it separate? What's it? There's a place right up on Marcus Drive where make aluminum windows and thing. Because they generate tons of scrap, aluminum. But they're not gonna. One of those youth can walk inside there and say, "Want to buy aluminum." But if they had a organized business with a representative that could then engage with those business to negotiate whether they buy some of it or, and make that a regular source, a dependable source of aluminum for them, for their business. But right now, one of the challenge for the pot making business is the ebb and flow of the available scrap aluminum to melt, to make pots. And if they had a way to organize and have a guaranteed a steady flow of a steady flow at a reasonable price, that's one way they could help further their business, where they wouldn't have to worry about where they're going to get raw material. But again, it comes to those 10 or 15 small pot makers organizing in a sort of like a co-op type thing and having representation to further the business, a collective type representation. So organizing is a big part right here. So.
All what you touch on is it's going to take leadership.
Yeah.
And
yes.
That area is represented by the PMP, a gentleman by the name of Patrick Roberts. And since all he has done so far, in addition to putting up street sign, he paved Unity Lane, but his main thing seemed to be a major festival over by the football field called Ghetto Splash. That's all that man done. And I tell you something, this man is a waste. This man is a waste. It's Patrick Roberts as a councillor. And I don't know how or why, but words on the street is that Portia Simpson, he has done favor for someone and they put him there. But the leadership is not providing any leadership to the community. He's not.
Well, again, to me, the he's not going to go around trying to, no, you're not going to find that anywhere where he's going to go around and come to you and solve your problem for you.
No. But he can create the opportunity for you to come to him and talk.
And I would say the opportunity probably exists, but you have to organize yourself so you can tap into those resources and opportunities. I mentioned, well, when I was there, I had get a small business loan. That take me going up to the small business association, joining the small business association right up there in New Kingston, and going through the process. Went to small. They used to have the SBA meeting up there. And then you find out that okay, they have this loan that is available for businesses of this particular size, which you fall into, and so you have to step out and get informed about the resources that are available, because a lot of these are available. You have USAID, a lot of them not necessarily even Jamaican organizations. You have all these foreign organizations that are set up to help communities like that.
But the skill set, I want that the skill set is there, because in our time, we we pay attention to our books and all
that's
that
what I'm
stuff.
saying again. It goes
Skill
back
set.
to organizing, and yeah.
But
But what kind of bodies you have down there now? Like nowadays you have, gosh, you actually have clubs meeting. Yeah. I don't remember which night Billy used to meet. Balcombe Drive United. His club used to meet. Actual club meeting, remember?
Yes, I remember that.
Billy as the president sit around and call a meeting to order.
Yeah, tear up and all of that.
Yeah, real,
I don't think
organized,
that is happening.
organized body. And we used to have our own meeting too.
I doubt anything like that is happening. Exactly. And that's why I'm saying that the councillor and the MP, Holness, Patrick Roberts and Holness, need to be doing more engaging the residents.
But there's nobody, but again, I'm saying there is there's not a representative from the community for them to engage with, or that there's no community body. There's no body that's going to go meet with them and say, hey, I'm the president of the Balcombe Drive Association. Represent
Buckers as one.
And like you said, they have a technology center up there, and they have other things happening up there, because trust me, those guys, knowing how organized they are, they probably have the MP or the councillor number and speed dial. They need something. Yeah, they call him and they go to his office.
Yeah.
Right.
But from Australia Road down to Pen on the Road, nothing. Nothing.
So how do you get that? How do you kickstart that?
Well, I'm still searching for answers. Probably you and I have to migrate.
You need to find some energetic, organized individual that want to make a difference, and then you can provide him with some guidance, and even probably some of the buckers man them can you know, help him out, you know, with idea, you know, who to talk to. Since it seems they cracked the nut on that, you know, they figure it out.
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope so, and let's keep the dialogue. I'm hoping that through this exchange and what have you, you know, and channel, people will listen and hear and step up.
Yeah,
Because that's one
I think that's what's missing. You need a leader to emerge that's ready to organize the people and take their complaints and their issue to the representatives, and that's how things start move. If everybody just on their own, doing their own thing, struggling, then you just keep what you call the party, what you call it. What you said in here, the session over the football field. What's the name of it?
What with football field?
No, you said them have the party. That's all they
get a splash.
Yeah, all them are gonna just get a splash.
Yes.
You know,
get a splash and
yes,
come out and you know.
Yeah. But no, you need leadership. You need leadership. You need organization.
Well, I'm hoping that this channel, because this is one of the ideas behind it, is this channel will stimulate some discussion and people will rise to the occasion, what have you, you know.
Yeah.
Because the lack of leadership is a major problem. But the challenge, in addition to the lack of leadership, is the gun violence. You know, that remains a major problem.
Well, again, we navigate that, you know, because
yeah, we navigate that.
Yeah, we navigate through that. We were never get wrapped up in that. Everybody know we were about sports on one end as youth and doing our business, you know.
Yeah.
But we're never deep into the political side. So we're able to navigate that without getting, you know, involved or get caught in a crossfire.
But that's not what's happening now.
Yeah.
You have Bakery Lane in war with Balcombe Drive, you know, Lyrics Corner, Buckers can't come past Australia Road, Binns Road, you know, and all that sort of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And it's the community fragmented. That's a major challenge that is holding back the area. And no doubt there's people there who want to do things. Because you see where NASA used to be in Bakery Lane, there's now a community center there.
Okay.
There's now a center there. So you have people willing to do stuff, but the gang violence. So you know, there's an ongoing war inside that section of the community that
what people community center now. What they being used for?
I have no idea. But there's a center down in the lane where NASA used to be. Where NASA with the Rasta art them.
Yeah, me know the nice.
Yeah. There's a center right down there. I'm not sure what's happening.
Well, a lot of time when you hear these center, you know, all it is them string up a box in there, a sound in there on weekend. And during the week, people in there play domino. Sit down and play that.
I don't know, my brother. I don't know what's happening, but there's a center.
I'm interested to find out what the community center being used for. Is it being used for some training, setting up type of training, community activity, helping kids with home, you know, say you have study all type for kids, so they come home, they can go there and get help with homework or...
To answer that question, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try and reach out to them.
Yeah.
And invite them to come on. I'm gonna also reach out to the Prime Minister, because he's the representative for that area also. And see if he will send a representative talk as to what the plans are. And I'm gonna reach out to Patrick Roberts to find out what exactly is the plan, because
I mean, if they have a community center and really trying to do things, you know, probably that's even an avenue where you know, be personal would are willing for to donate or help with something like that in any way, you know.
Well, let's explore it. Now I'm
Yeah.
gonna get that information and share it. You know.
Okay.
But again, once again, I want to thank you for this time, my brethren. You
Yeah,
know, and
man.
let's keep. We're going to do a part two. You know, we have to do a part two.
Yeah, I can't wait for this COVID thing to clear up. You know, yeah, I know they're lifting some of the travel restriction down there now, but probably go down later this year. So probably
Yes.
can do an update after I go down and circle around and probably have some of the answers to even some of the questions I'm asking, like what they do with the what they do at the
The
youth
center.
the community center, you know. What
And
they,
we don't just want a ghetto splash. We need more than that. You know, we deserve more
probably
than a
don't
ghetto
get time
splash.
for the ghetto splash, you know.
No. So bye bye. Thank you very much, my brethren.
Yeah, man. All right.
And we'll talk.
Yeah,
All
man.
right.
All right. Take care,
Yes, brother.
guys.
Cool.
Yeah, man.